I have decided something. What have you decided? I have decided
that
When we're born, we have a mommy and daddy, right? And then when we grow up and get married, we have children of our own. And then our children grow up and get married and have children. And so on and so on. So it's very important and very fun also to have sex.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Hello, hello. This is Miranda from Interesting Sex Podcast, a show about who, how, where, and why we fuck. I know you know how important it is to go out and rate and review us. Please do that. You'll also be entered to win a prize once you do. We always give out a cool prize every month. Thank you for taking the time to let us know that you appreciate us. We appreciate you. Today we have a really cool guest, Lamont Baldwin. He actually has his own podcast called Hella Single. He talks to people that he used to date, kind of figure out what happened, what experiences they had. It's really interesting, but it's also a lot more than that. He's going to tell us about it in just a second on our call, or you can just go subscribe to that right now as well and hear what he's up to. Really lucky to talk to him. He's actually a good friend of mine. I met him in my apartment building. He's super friendly and cool and hot. And sometimes as a female who is straight, I need some advice on anal sex. So I thought who better to talk to than a hot gay friend about their sexual experience and what advice they have to give. So let's give them a call. Let's say hi. Let's open our ears, our hearts, and our holes and give a nice warm welcome to Lamont Baldwin.
Hi.
Hi, is this Lamont?
This is.
Hi, Lamont. This is Miranda calling from Interesting Sex Podcast.
Hey, Miranda.
How's it going today?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited to talk to you about your life and most specifically your deepest, darkest sexual experiences.
And I'm happy to answer all of those questions for you.
Cool. How's your day going?
Pretty good. I'm actually still a little bus lagged from my trip to New York yesterday.
Oh, what were you doing in New York?
I was actually on this really cool queer sex positive podcast called Eat, Pray, Thought.
You do have your own podcast, right?
Yeah, so the show is called Hella Single. And it is essentially me preparing for marriage by unpacking a lot of the baggage that I've been walking around, like dating baggage I've been walking around with. To me, it was important to have these conversations publicly because I feel like there's really no blueprint for the 20-something gay black male when it comes to a successful gay black relationship. There really aren't many long-term committed monogamous relationships I can look up to. So I kind of wanted to just fill the void. I've been through some things and I've learned some things, and I can share the things that I've learned. I like to jokingly say I give my unprofessional opinion.
Yeah, well, that's a really cool podcast. I've checked it out. I love it. I recommend
Thank
it.
you for listening.
Yeah, it is really real. When did you first realize that you were gay?
Yeah, as early as I can remember, and it took me a while to have the realization / acceptance moment, because I would watch porn when I was way too young to be watching porn, and it was a very specific type of porn. It was anal, but it was back shots, and I was like, why is that? And then maybe after the third or fourth time I would watch it, I was like, oh, I'm doing this so I can get a great view of the guy's dick.
So you were watching straight porn at that time,
yes.
But you were watching it from behind the female point of view, from the guy's point of view.
Right. So I had no interest in the woman at all. And once I made that once I was like, oh, wow. Well, and I realized it and I accepted it. Right. And I think that was the moment that was the I'm gay moment for me.
Do you masturbate?
Every day.
Every day.
It's a part of my meditation self-care ritual.
Do you watch porn? Do you listen to music? What's your vibe?
I don't listen to music. Maybe I should start. But I watch porn. I am a My Vidster fanatic. It's probably
what's it called?
My Vidster.
Okay. Gay porn or it's all sorts of porn?
So it's a video platform. And then there's a function that allows you to turn off the family safe feature, and it unleashes gay porn, straight porn, and both.
I'm getting kind of sick of my two normal porn sites I check out.
What are yours?
I just look at Pornhub and TNA flicks. So this is actually pretty embarrassing when I had like a friend who was really good at computers, and I also kind of had a crush on him. But when
Did he work at TNA Flicks?
no, he came over to like write some music with me, but he also like if ever I need help with computer stuff, he would help me. So I had just gotten a vibrator or something, and I decided that I wanted to watch a girl masturbating. So I didn't know about how to stream and stuff, so I downloaded this video of this like girl getting herself off, right? And so it was saved onto my computer. Well, he came over and we were recording something on my computer. And as a computer guy, he knew exactly what that was when he saw the file. So he opened it up on purpose in front of me. And I was so embarrassed because A, I kind of had a crush on him. And B, it was like, it was like, not even like
What
regular
is
porn.
cool?
It was just like me watching a chick, So
Yeah.
it was super embarrassing. And then when he left, he like wrote down TNA flicks. He was like, "Don't download any more stuff onto your computer." He like wrote it down and left it for me and was like, "Use this." So that was like the first time I was introduced to porn like that.
What a tool.
Well, he was messing with me. I mean, I would probably have done the same. He like wanted to embarrass me, and he probably also wanted to see the porn I had downloaded.
Determination. I would have been mortified. Go you. The fact that you still have your dignity intact.
I mean, that was like 8 years ago.
I would have been mortified to this
Yeah,
day.
I don't think I worry about my dignity anymore. But 8 years ago, I think it was pretty embarrassing. So do you watch porn every time you masturbate?
Every time, as long as I have a strong connection and or Wi-Fi, every time. Or I just use memories of previous sexual encounters, but that's a little problematic for me because it's usually of guys that I hate. So I
Guys
try
that
not
you
to go
what?
to those that I hate.
Oh.
So I try not to go to that place.
When you watch porn now, what is what you would kind of search for? Like, what keywords do you like when you're looking?
Gay, black, amateur, gay, black, amateur.
Okay, because it feels more real, the amateur porn, or what do you, right?
Yeah, I think my sex life isn't as fruitful as some of these Pornhub celebs,
Right.
Pornhub stars.
I,
I'm like,
I don't like the ones that are like too fake either. It just, there's so
either.
much stuff on there.
Although I love some great cinematography. There's this one interracial company that has probably some of the best cinematography I've seen in a long time. Like, I want to send the DP a fruit basket, and I mean the director of photographer, not
Of all like bananas and cucumbers and eggplants, like anything that could look like a dick, fruit basket.
a statue of the praying hand emoji. Because I'm so grateful for his services.
That's so funny. Yeah, you should at least send him a email.
A cake,
Send him a
a
cake
cake with the praying hand,
with the praying hands cake.
with the hands.
That's funny. Thank you. When was your first actual sexual experience with another person, and what was it like?
So I will talk about my first sexual experience. But the first time I had sex was ninth grade with a guy who was considerably older, consensual.
Okay, but like I want to know the entire experience. Like what
Sure.
happened? How did you meet?
Yeah, of course. Of course. I was way too grown for my own good. There was a website called,
Your dick was way too grown, or you were too old?
I was too old.
Too old.
Certainly not.
My dick was full grown.
Not in ninth grade.
Has it gotten bigger as you got older?
Yes,
How does that work? I've always been curious about that.
Yeah, puberty. Like puberty, it gets a little thicker. Who also wasn't like keeping like how like the moms have like the height of their children.
Right.
I also wasn't keeping like my dick height, dick length as I was growing up. But I feel like it's not the same. It's not the same size it was when I first came out of my mom.
Right. Right, but I'm curious like how much it grows like in high school, or if it's kind of like your full size by like 14.
I don't know.
I don't
know.
remember. I have no recollection of when I got pubes. Like none.
They sprout out of nowhere.
Yeah, I just like remember just like kind of I don't even remember when I had them. You know,
From
I
when
have
you woke up,
no,
it was
I
like
guess
a
I
shit,
just
like
wasn't
a.
very aware. So your first sexual experience, where did you meet him? Like, how did that happen?
So there was this website that I was too young to be a part of. I think it was like local hookups or meet people where you are or something. And there was this guy who, I don't know, I think either messaged me or I messaged him, and his profile said that he was in a different state, so I kind of didn't take it seriously. But from my understanding, he hadn't changed the city when he first moved to my city. So we met, and then I think the first time we met, we went to the movies. So we met online, and then of course I've had a cell phone since I was like fucking way too young to have a cell phone. So started talking on the phone, and then we finally met, and then I think he became my boyfriend. He was my boyfriend, but like in the ninth grade way. He was
How
to me
old
in
was
high.
he?
I think he was like 27, 24. I know. I don't. I can't remember. I know. You know when you're younger, someone older seems so much more older than you.
Right.
So I don't. I think he was like maybe 24, 27. That feels right, but probably too old. Definitely too old to be dating a 16-year-old for sure, or 15. However old I was in ninth grade, for sure, too old.
Do you remember what movie you went to?
Men in Black or Bad Boys? Bad Boys or Men. I remember Will Smith or Drumline. Either Will Smith or Nick Cannon. It was one of those movies.
Okay. So, how did it go after the movies? Like, did you have sex the first time you hung out, or?
We did it. So we hung out that day. I think we immediately realized that there was chemistry there, and we hung out again. And then the next time we hung out at his place, and that's when it happened. So that was like when I lost my virginity, I think.
Was he the aggressor because he was older? Like, he kind of started it, made the first moves?
I think I was a fast ass ninth grader, and I think I was the aggressor in
Right.
all of this. I
So,
was the aggressor, and I think he immediately assumed that I was gonna bottom. And at the time, I was just sexually inexperienced, and it wasn't to me. It wasn't even a possibility. Like just looking at the size of his penis, this is like there's no way that's no way that's going anywhere inside of me. And I think we both were just like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. So he was open to let me penetrate him, and we did. And it was the first time I had sex, and the first time a guy has ever like defecated on me. So yeah, yeah,
okay, so after you have sex and you pull out and there's like poop on your
this is
dick,
mid sex.
oh, it like came out like
Yeah,
onto you.
all over me. Yep.
So not, it didn't just like pull out, it was on your dick. Like it came out onto like
No,
your.
it pulled out on my dick. I'm sorry. I didn't.
Okay. I
I'm
don't know.
making a
I,
picture
I
of
want
it.
to know if
It
he like like
exploded
sharted.
on my face.
Okay,
Mid
so you were
stroke.
like going in and out, and then you started like coming out, and there was like poop on it.
Yeah, I don't
Did
even
you
know what I'm trying
stop?
to
No,
say.
I want to
Yeah,
know
first
this.
I was
Did you
like, there
stop when you
was
saw the poop, or you just were like, okay, this is the thing, and kept going, or were you like,
absolutely not. That was all bets were off at that point. I ran to his shower, and he came running behind me as if he were like was gonna help. I'm like, what are you doing? Go away. You've done enough. You've done enough. And I showered, and it was awkward, and honestly scarred me for a while. I didn't have sex from freshman year to freshman year of college, like
right?
intercourse. So I was like, oral and like mutual masturbation, the safe stuff. Oral's partially safe, but yeah, I didn't. That was my entire like sexual experience throughout high school.
The thing about anal sex is I feel like it's kind of almost a little bit more intimate in a way
For
than
sure.
actual sex because it's scary and it can really hurt and like you really have to trust the person and like the force and everything that they're doing. So it is like a little scary.
Yeah, I think that it's absolutely scary. I've heard of stories of actually recently, a friend of mine told me that their friend was in the middle of sex and it was hurting. He was like, "Hey, maybe you should stop," and the guy didn't stop. Um, and that's literally you're in a position that is doesn't really allow you to have that much power. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it does require a lot of trust, and truly just being comfortable being vulnerable with that person, and that's always been my thing. It's a control issue on my part, but it's also like just the realization that you're not worthy of me being that vulnerable. Like this is something special to me, and I don't think
Right.
most guys are worthy of it.
So I've heard with like gay men, and I'm not sure about with females that love anal or not, but like if you have a big night out or you know you're going to have sex, that you do some sort of cleansing thing in your
Yes,
ass.
it's called an enema, and most gay men use enemas. Like it fills your stomach up with water, and it gives you. This is probably TMI, but it gives you
No,
this to
I
say,
want it.
yeah, it forces you to poop.
Right. So when
Um,
you take this enema, do you put it in your butt or you swallow it?
you put it in your butt. A lot
It's
of
like a
people
pill.
pour out. It's a water solution, similar to like a female douche. Um, it you can either use the laxative that's inside, but most gay men pour it out and just use water and just continue to refill it.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, most gay men pour out the laxative that's inside and
Okay.
just fill it with water and then just do a couple pumps. Maybe, fill it up 3 times and then it forces everything in your stomach to come out.
Okay. So like if you know you're like going to the club and kind of want to get laid, would you do this or would you only do it if you're like having a date or something with someone you like?
So it's so funny, like in the gay community, there's like an ongoing joke that bottoms who feel like they're gonna get lucky, they have like a very light meals or they do soup. They do soup before sex. Or they just don't eat at all. Or there's also like a huge population of bottoms, from my understanding, that are just able to like they know their body, so they know that even if they were a little bit loose-lipped, no pun intended, in terms of eating that day, they wouldn't have any accidents.
Do you still get poop on your dick very often?
So it happened. It's funny you asked. No, it happened the first time, and it happened actually the second time too. When I was in the first time I had sex after the first time in college, and it was just like, this is not my judge. This is not my thing. I am not here for this. This is not my idea of a good time. So no, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen very often. I think that I've like anal is like I can take it or leave it. To be honest with you, I think that's why I have like such a distant relationship with penetration.
Okay, so most of the time when you're having sex, I just kind of see that's something that I just assume. I assume that there's one person putting in the other person's butt. But I guess like there like you were talking about mutual masturbation, you were talking about prostate and I guess blowjobs and so
Yeah, I feel like anal sex should be planned. I'm sorry to cut you off. Please forgive me.
no,
Yeah, I feel like anal sex needs to be planned. I don't believe in spontaneous anal sex because you see what happened to
all of
me
mine
two
has been
times.
spontaneous. It's like I wasn't expecting this.
So were mine, and that's why I got what I got. So for the rule of thumb is that we need to plan this in advance, maybe 3 to 4 days in advance. Is ideal for me. That means we can take the proper preparations. Like it just needs to be. I don't believe that and anal sex should not be spontaneous. You spontaneously go for ice cream, not have a penis inserted in your ass.
So when
Okay.
you are having like a hookup with somebody or you have a boyfriend that you're like with consistently
Haven't had a boyfriend, but a
or
consistent
sex
guy.
partners that you have sex
Yeah.
with consistently, you're more likely to just like blow each other and masturbate together and hand jobs?
When you say it like that, it sounds like it's nothing. No,
No,
yeah,
I'm just
that's
curious.
actually
I think masturbating in front of people is like super fucking hot.
yeah, it is. It's very high. I think there's to me, it's all about like the facial expressions. Like to me, like a mutual masturbation encounter is all about like to me, like just to see like the look of pleasure on your partner's face.
Right.
Like it's just even if you're not responsible for it, just to see someone just enjoying themselves
Right.
and by themselves, like they're pleasing themselves. Like to me, there's something like so cool about that.
Yeah.
That kind of just like makes me happy.
If your partner's like masturbating, do you like grab their balls for them or it's more of a prostate thing or all of the
Uh,
above?
no, well, it actually depends. I think that one of the things that some guys like is I always try it, and some guys are like, yeah, it's not my thing. But what I've experienced is that all guys like their nipples licked.
I
Every
have had a different experience. I have dated guys who have no feelings there.
No nipple sensation. Like I
None.
hate it. To me, it's like licking my nipples like the equivalent of tickling me and like pinching me at the same time. It does not feel good at all. I
Right.
literally like
But most of your partners would like that you've been
love
with
it.
love it. So if they're masturbating, you see that's something I never really do to guys because I feel like I've had a couple experiences where guys aren't really into it. So maybe that's something I should open myself up to more.
I think so. I think that like to me, it's just so reductive to just pay attention to the penis. There's so many other
Right. But I feel like
sensitive.
most guys are just like simple and they're like, touch my dick.
Most guys are dirt bags.
Touch my dick.
I mean, I have so much more to offer than dick touching, right? I
Right.
could gently caress your leg
Right.
while I'm blowing you. Like, no, just suck my dick.
Yeah, like I don't always want to have sex with people, especially like early on, but I think so many people forget how much fun like foreplay and fooling around and masturbating together, like there's so much other really fun stuff than just having sex that people leave out, especially once you start having like full penetration. Like you don't always go back to all that fun stuff. So I think it's important to have different experiences. Or are you a top or a bottom or both or
So, yeah, so most of my sexual experience I topped, but I started bottoming this year. And to me, bottoming is really just reserved for either a relationship or monogamy. And I really have to like the person because it's not enjoyable for me.
right?
So it's very clear that if I'm bottoming, I'm doing it for you.
Do you think it's not so enjoyable for you because maybe there isn't enough like lube situation or you just don't like the way something going in to an out hole feels?
No, I actually enjoy like prostate orgasms, meaning like very superficial though. So in terms of, like if we use my thumb as an example, like to the first line to me feels like heaven, right? And anything further than that is like all bad. No, absolutely not. That feels great, and I'm able to have these P spot is what the guys call it, P spot orgasms, and they're amazing. But an entire penis, like I just can't imagine that feeling good. It never, in all my times of experimenting and trying it, because I've tried, I just couldn't imagine bearing that. I'm like, like what do I get out of this?
Can you give yourself a prostate orgasm?
Yes, yes,
Do you do that when you masturbate often
yes,
or as
often,
often?
often. Yeah, to me, like a superficial, like an orgasm without it is just nowhere near as intense or
What do you mean
pleasurable for
like a
me.
superficial orgasm? What do you mean?
Like one that doesn't like a non P spot orgasm, not
Okay.
superficial.
So that's a
It's just
better orgasm from you than like getting just a blowjob
absolutely. I think the both would be ideal if we're
at the same
honest.
time.
At the same time would be ideal. That's
So I've looked up, like, I've dated people that are kind of into a little bit of anal play. And so it's like something that's like newer in my life with males because a lot of guys that are straight are scared of it in general because they think it means that they're gay or
they're
something.
gay.
And they're
It's
like, no,
so
no, no.
yeah, it's so unfortunate because I feel like a huge population of hetero men are missing out on the best orgasms of their life.
Right. But
Of their life.
so I've tried to like kind of find that space like by looking at diagrams, but I've never been able to like find the actual spot or figure out how to make a guy come that way. Do you
You know,
have
I think that
advice?
well, I don't. I think everyone's like spot is different. I really think it's just a matter of exploration. Like if you really just sit them down, like, hey, I really think you're going to enjoy this. I even give you a BJ simultaneously. Let
Right.
me do some anal play, and then you start up giving him BJ, and then like finding what feels good to him. Like
Right.
having dialogue. Does this feel good? What about here? You just go work your way around, and then
Right.
you'll
But
find it.
usually, okay, say you put your thumb or your finger in their asshole and they are, say, lying down, like as if they would be face up lying down. When you
Right.
put your finger in there, you would need to move it upwards.
Yes.
Okay, so it's like
That's what I
between their
typically do.
asshole and their penis or balls, it would be in the spot like going that direction.
Right,
In.
but let's just say you don't reach the spot, like the prostate, but just the sensation alone for a lot of guys can give them a really intense orgasm because the nerves down there are just so sensitive. And so I think maybe like a gentle stroke, like caressing it
Right,
at
around the
some point.
outside. Two trailer park girls go around the outside. Okay,
Yeah,
but always wet, right?
it depends. Like to me, dry is okay with me.
Okay. Can you tell me like your favorite sexual experience that you've had? Do you have like something that kind of shines?
Well, sure. The first thing that comes to mind is my ex when I was in college. I think he was the first person that introduced me to the prostate orgasm. So I think that we were like just mutually masturbating, and he put his finger there. And at first I was like, I don't even know if I'm comfortable with this because I don't.
Did you use that voice? I don't think I'm comfortable with this.
I don't think I'm even comfortable with this. No, I wish. That's how I felt on the inside. But I think that we gave it like first the thing about this, we're guys, right? And sometimes sex is spontaneous. You may come from the gym, like I'm fresh from the gym and I haven't showered yet, so sexual encounter, like there's gonna be some bo for sure. So I was concerned about that. I was like, when's the last time I showered? Is it safe to go down there?
Right.
But it was amazing. That was literally I remember that because it opened my mind, especially after years of having like the traditional orgasm. It was like, what? It could feel this way?
That's cool.
And yeah, that's super cool. And I think the last one would probably be.
You're inspiring me to put my finger in more assholes.
Please, I think you'd be doing a service to mankind. To be honest with you, I think that there's so many men who just need to get out of their own way and start enjoying these p-gasms. Like I just don't understand. Like prostate orgasms is like the wave. They're the future.
How do you meet guys? Is it like apps? Is it at the gym? Is it friends of friends or parties? Like what is the most common way and easiest way that you find your hookups or your dating life?
Most gay men do prefer like location-based applications. I'm at a point now that I'm so done with app dating because it's so much you have to combat. I talk about this on the podcast. Like you meet this person, well, you see this person online, you read this very curated, specific bio that makes everybody sound interesting and busier than they are, and four amazingly curated photos with an amazing app and possibly some retouching. So it's just easier to meet a person face to face and like get to know them, who they truly are, not these photos and not this witty banter in your messages. Because everybody's smart when you can take 3 minutes to craft your response.
Sexting and texting is kind of fun.
I just find sexting to be, for me, I just can't take it seriously. And even like sex talk, I've never had a genuine sex talk a moment. It's all very contrived. It always feels like I'm playing a role and never feels natural. So I always say some stuff, especially if I know if it's going to get the guy off. But I've never genuinely been like, oh, yeah. Like, to me, I feel
so you don't dirty talk really in bed?
So if we're having consistent sex and we're together, all bets are off. Like, I go there, but I don't think I feel comfortable being that open with the person that I don't know very well, if that makes any sense. Right. So hookup, probably no. It's when we have one objective, right? Talking, yes, that. But if for something more consistent, absolutely. I think it's a huge part of it. I think so.
I love dirty talk. I think it's super fun.
Is there a line for you when it comes to dirty talk? Like, do you not like being called like certain words or like words off limits for you?
I used to sext with a guy who would like always bring it, like we would be like sexting to like me masturbating, and I would assume they were too, but sometimes I think guys will just text you when they're like on the airplane or they're like at work. They're not actually masturbating, but like as a female, like if I'm texting like that,
they're actually on the phone with their mom.
Probably naked, right? So, but he would like keep bringing it back to himself and like anal kind of things, and I'm like, okay, this is not helping me get off at all. Like, so I found like that super weird, and then I'd have to try to bring it back to like him going down on me or something, because that's awesome. So, but I was like, this is super weird. So that would turn me off. Like the word moist doesn't super bother me. I don't think anyone's ever sexted me moist, but I don't think I don't think I've ever had a situation where something.
That's funny. Really, that's the only word, moist.
The people hate that word.
Call me what you want, but please don't ever call me moist.
Yeah. I probably lost half our listeners right now because I said the word moist. People are like, I hate that word. Have you ever been intimate with a woman?
I have not. I'm a ghost or gay.
A
I'm
what?
a gold star gay. A gold star gay. Gold star gay is a gay man who's never had sex with a woman.
Okay, have you ever kissed a female friend?
Like made out? No, not like a friend. No, like a maybe like a middle school, like early high school girlfriend. Yeah,
Yeah. But you never like fingered a girl.
I have actually. Actually, I have.
Did it get you hard or excited or not really? It was kind of weird and gooey or both.
It wasn't weird and gooey. It was the smell didn't really do a lot for me. Like
Did you go down on her or you could just smell it?
no, naturally after you finger, like you smell your fingers, and it just was
Yeah.
like,
Naturally, you sniff your fingers after you put them somewhere.
right, just out of curiosity,
Right.
right?
Yeah, no.
Where did I learn that? Anyway, the smell alone was just enough for me to. I'm not saying that all women's vaginas smell this, but these two particular vaginas were the scent was enough to. And it's so funny, like I can still smell it right
Right.
now.
Well, I've heard for
Uh,
gay males, it is like a turn off smell for them. Where if the gay guy smelled the same, a straight guy smelled the same vagina, it might have actually been a good vagina.
that was probably the confirmation I needed. Like the smell, I think God knew.
Well, like pheromones are a huge deal and like attraction of different
Are
people.
there also people who you just have like no reaction to, like a
Yeah,
neutral?
sure. Like I can't
I,
smell everybody. You probably, you don't like go sniffing everybody. Maybe you do. You touch them and then you're like, smell my fingers
no,
because
and
I smell everything I touch.
I do sniff doing hugs though, right? I think that's a thing
Okay,
because to me, it's a huge part of the hug, right? You need to feel the embrace. You need to smell their neck.
that's
It's
funny
all a part of
because
the
did you?
experience.
Okay, so I actually dated this guy once where he gave me a hug and he gave a really big sniff like before we started dating in my hair and it was like he was like like in my and I was like holy moly that's terrifying and I actually referred to him to my friends as the sniffer for a while because he had such like a big sniff like right in my hair and I give like I've dated a lot so sometimes it's easier to refer to guys as a nickname than it is like to remember their names with friends so I
Right.
called him he was the sniffer for a while.
That's
um
so funny. My friends
so
do the same thing. We have nicknames for all the guys.
Right. For women, do you have any anal tips if there's like a female that's kind of thinking about having anal for herself, not for her guy? Do you have some like tips that you would recommend that make the situation easier or
I
more
think that it's
enjoyable?
important to try it when you're already aroused. Um, I feel like that's a thing. And this is also my limited and unprofessional opinion, limited experience in my professional opinion. I think lube, of course, makes the experience a lot more pleasurable. And I think that just the act of starting slow, I think that's not a thing for most guys when, especially vaginal intercourse. Like if they're smart, they would warm the oven up.
Right.
But once it's warmed up, they really just go they're in for the kill.
Right.
At least that's what I see. So I think that like you had to treat the butthole the butthole. You have to treat anal sex.
You can call it a butthole.
I just felt like a 3-year-old. The
That's what you say.
butthole.
That's what you say when you're dirty talking. I love your little butthole.
I love
Right?
your butthole.
I love your tiny little butthole.
That sounds so pervy.
Yeah, you're supposed to be pervy when you dirty talk.
I hate the descriptions though. I love your tiny little butthole. I think I'll stay away from the adjectives. I just love your butthole.
I think the
The
adjectives is
adjective,
where that's where the golden nuggets are. Golden nuggets.
I love your little pink pussy. To me, it seems so redundant. It's like, what other color would the vagina be? I love your white teeth. Like, what? It's like such a pointless description.
So you would say go slow, use some
Go
lube,
slow,
and be
lube.
very aroused.
Absolutely.
I would say probably add in there have a glass of wine or something before, because you gotta be
Wine
relaxed,
makes
I guess.
everything more better.
Right,
More comfortable.
right.
Yes.
Just a glass.
At least a glass. At least.
Okay, this is a fun question. I have a pretty nice rack, and That means
Pretty
boob.
nice. Legendary. Phenomenal. Is
And
what
I
I'd
think
say.
it's like I kind of like think it's hilarious and super fun. I feel like a lot of gay guys just like love boobs. Do you like boobs?
No, actually, that's my least favorite part of a woman, to be honest. I think if I ever had sex with a woman, I would need two pillows placed over her chest so I could just pretend like they don't exist. I love a woman's figure, like the softness of a woman, like a woman's figure,
Right.
but boobs just to me just feel like, I just think of mom. I'd probably be more of an ass guy if I were straight.
Right.
Yeah, I can take it. Boobs, I can take or leave.
Yeah. I
I'm
think
okay with
I'm an
girls.
ass girl too. Like if I was looking at a girl, I really appreciate a great booty.
Same.
But booties take work, like you can work it out. You can, you know,
No, that's a conversation in itself. That's a whole episode. Interesting sex, booty.
colon,
Booty.
colon, booty. So, okay. Are you ready for the last question?
I am ready for the last question.
Okay. If you got to pick your most exciting untapped sexual experience that you haven't done before, like what is your secret sex fantasy that you would like bucket list want to do?
If there was a way to do like the glory hole, but with someone you know and safe, I would totally be down for it. Also, like a public place, there's a possibility that you'll get caught, but it's not likely. Perhaps at maybe like a random Tuesday afternoon in like a mall bathroom where the possibility of you getting caught is gonna be like some old lady.
So what if
doing
it was a mall bathroom with a glory hole?
Yeah, my mind is blown right now. I can't even fathom both of my fantasies happening at once. I think that'd be great. Interesting,
But you
right?
don't have like that pervy side that kind of would like to stick your dick in a glory hole and have someone else suck it that you don't know who's over there. You don't find that exciting. You'd rather
No,
know.
I'd be consumed about where has their mouth been, what their story, like what do they do for a living, like what does
Right.
their face look like. Like I was like, I wonder if their breath smell. It would I would be two in my head. I would be two in my head. And I also wouldn't like I would probably touch it if one came through the hole, but I could
You wouldn't
promise I
suck it.
wouldn't suck it
But
without a
what if
condom.
it was like a pre-tested scenario of like a bunch of dicks coming out of glory holes just lined up and
You
everyone
know,
was
I think that maybe just one is okay. One, I can do one. Anything more than
right.
that, I would walk away from that experience with zero dignity.
Right. So you don't need a
It's
double
it's it's,
penetration
it's
situation. You
self-respect.
enjoy the
No,
idea of monogamy and intimacy and relationship, and you would enjoy having a glory hole experience
yeah, for a
and
number
something
of
in public.
reasons.
I think the public is
Yeah.
super fun. You got to do something in public sometime. I have a great balcony if you ever like want to like
Can I
actually.
borrow your balcony for a few hours?
Yeah.
Who am I kidding? 20 minutes.
Right. Actually, I'm all like, okay, wait, I take that back. I'm the only one that should get to fuck on my balcony.
Uh,
Well, I want to thank you so much, Lamont, for coming on. I think
yeah,
everyone should
thank you for
check
having
out your show, Hella Single. It's super honest, almost as honest as you were just now. Just kidding. I loved all the details. And I think men and women need to be reminded nipples and a little prostate or booty action for your man.
He will thank you later. He
Yeah,
may argue in the moment, but he will
right,
thank you later. When he reflects on this moment 20 years from now, he's going to thank you.
right. Give him a glass of wine before. There you go. It fixes everyone. Okay, well, thank you so much. Stay in touch with me. I'd love to chat again
Yes.
sometime. And once you get that glory hole experience, because now that it's on the podcast, it probably will happen. I would like a follow-up phone call.
Listen, a follow episode is absolutely necessary. You'd be the first to know.
I hope so. I get a phone call and I'm like, what? And it's Lamont like, I got glory hold.
It
It
happened.
happened. Okay, thank you so much for being here and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much for having me. You too.
Bye. Thank you. Mwah.
I love that guy. So, peegasm, not an orgasm when you pee. It is a prostate orgasm. And mark my words, I will find a prostate and I will make it orgasm. Please check out Hella Single. It is hella good. I love Lamont. He's an amazing guy. He's been like such an inspiration and help with me and my podcast. So I want to send him some love. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to rate and review us and subscribe. I'm giving away an awesome flogger from Maximus Leatherworks for those of you who do that. Also, if you want to just check it out and buy one of his floggers, he made one just for Interesting Sex. You can find it on my website, and you can buy your own just for Interesting Sex. Do you think you have interesting sex and you want to share it with me? Go to InterestingSexPodcast.com. Let me know. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I am excited to hear about you and what you're into. And if you have any questions for me or any of my guests that we've had, let us know. Thank you to 41 for this amazing song that we use on this podcast. Woo! I can't wait to see you next week to see what the pussy drags in.
Well, it's a doobity-doo. Yes, it's a doobity-doo. Well, it's a doobity-doo. Yes, it's a doobity-doo. I mean a doobie-doobie-doobie-doobie-doobie-doo.
Yeah! Yeah! Oh, yeah. I don't get it. Oh, yeah. I don't get it.
I promise I will not judge any person.
Oh, yeah.